We always called each other good fellas. Like you'd say to somebody, you're gonna like this guy, he's all right. He's a good fella, he's one of us.
It's the biggest job you'll ever get in your life, and it'll be the toughest job you'll ever get in your life. One word we did not talk about is the use of the word autistic.
Complete honesty, if I were to be very blunt with you, they're there to bullshit around.
You understand? We were good fellas, wise guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on to episode 7. I'm your host Abdul Razzaq, and you are watching Filtered Remastered podcast. Back on with none other than Prani reporting live from Germany. How's it going?
Yes, sir. I'm doing well, man. It's a wonderful time to come back to Filtered Remastered. We came off episode 6, which was a pretty good one, but I think this one will be a bit more juicier, but a lot more to talk about. What did you say?
100%. I remember you were the one who encouraged to record this episode ASAP, because there was like 2 topics that was circling your brain, right? That you wanted to speak on about.
Yeah.
What were they?
From episode 6, we talked about how there's feminine men and the consequence of that, and entitled people, and of course, certain other things. You can check back that on episode 6. Now, one of the reasons we see that very commonly is due to the first topic we'll talk about, which is fatherless, and how men are failures because of their father's own compromise as themselves as men. We see that a lot, very much, especially in the Western world, especially in Canada. We see that a lot across many people we meet and converse. And the second topic we'll be talking about will be the networking lie. I think me and Abdul Razzaq are very much in the space of going to networking events and going to meet with people and to obviously connect with ourselves, right? And to be completely honest with you, as two 20-year-olds who have a lot of aspirations, going to network events are pretty much useless unless you have a reason to be useful. And that's very much the case. But let's go into the first topic of fatherless. Now, I think when we think of father, we think about certain races, but we also think about people who actually don't have a father from the get-go. And that is obviously an unfortunate circumstance, but there are people who already have fathers in their lives, yet they almost act as if they were fathers to begin with. Now, this is a very interesting topic because I feel like we see a lot of people, especially specifically men. The daughters we can talk about for ages, we can go for a rant for that one, but to be completely honest, the men, as we talked about, are the reasons why this will go around. And when men are weak, we talked before, there's a lot of consequences to that, and one of the main causes of that would be due to men having weak fathers, and that's very common in the Western world. Now, Abdul Razzaq, I want to start with one question here. Why do you think fathers, when they come to the Western world, in this first world country we live in, why do you think they're very much weak to raise their children, specifically their sons?
I don't know about everybody, but on the let's talk about the most case right now. That would be because, you're an immigrant, I'm an immigrant, right? So we can resonate to this in many aspects. We've seen our fathers work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, 4 jobs, work day and night restlessly. And throughout that process, what happens is they're absent from home. And that's a lot in my case. You know what I mean? I know what you were telling me in your case, that is priority-wise. And what I mean by priority-wise is you told me your dad came here as like a Civil War survivor, someone who survived the Civil War back in your home country, right? And you told me a lot of people from your community, they let their kids be whatever, grow up into being whatever, because, okay, we came from a fucked up past, so we should let our kids enjoy and give them what we didn't have. Education, better life opportunities, X, Y, Z. That's the benefit of coming to a first world country from third world country, right? But in terms of who they are as a character, who they are as a person, and how they portray themselves and their own family, that's where they lack a lot. Or especially, the values they distill in their offsprings.
Absolutely. And from what I can talk to my own people, my own Tamil community, their biggest disappointment I've ever seen in my life. Their parents been through hell, for 20 plus years, and they're still going through hell today, providing for the children, providing for the family, fathers and mothers. Not just the father. Both parents are going through hell right now, especially in this shit economy we live in. And for their children to do very degenerate things at a very degenerate age is quite unfortunate. But at the end of the day, it's the parents' fault. It's specifically the father's fault for not controlling their wife, not controlling their mother, and not controlling their kids. We met a lot of people who I love talking back to the abuse of words. One word we did not talk about is the abuse of the word autistic. A lot of kids call themselves autistic, or a lot of children,
Not autistic
or a lot of
particularly. We're talking about special needs.
special
Because
needs.
special needs
Yeah,
is a
correct.
broad spectrum, and when people speak on about that specific topic, like, listen, man, I can go on a whole rant about this. That's the funny part because any
Dude, yeah.
okay, someone's what do you call it? Remember when Andrew Tate talked about this? There's this one kid who he was talking about who was having trouble walking down the stairs because if he didn't step correctly, he's gonna throw a tantrum, right? And he's gonna have to go back up to walk down properly and go out of the house, right? He just said his solution is pick the kid up, toss him on the ground, done, end of story, right?
Absolutely.
It's it's all comes down to like what do they want to bear.
Yeah. People, I think, especially in this modern world, especially with social media, I think they soften the role as father. They soften the role as a mother. It's the biggest job you'll ever get in your life, and it'll be the toughest job you'll ever get in your life.
100%.
Yeah, I think social media softened it so much. Why do you think our parents, not our parents specifically, but why do you think our parents of new immigrants in this world raise the kids in a very soft manner? Because they're getting things they never had before, right? Grocery store, peace, and they overemphasize how great Canada is, or how great America is, or how great any European country is. Because their level of standards, right, for living is very shit because they came from shit countries. That's not their fault, and I'm very grateful that my parents came out of what they've been through quite unscathed, and I'm very grateful for that. And I think the same for your parents, and the same for many parents watching the show right here,
Yeah.
who are
Hey,
immigrants
first of all, no, shout out to
in the
all the
first world
parents.
country.
Shout out to all the parents
Absolutely.
who've
Yeah.
raised their kids in a good manner and tried their best, give their all 100% to raise them while being an immigrant,
Absolutely.
while surviving
Yeah.
this capitalist environment where people only think about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to think about themselves. So what leads to the next topic, doesn't it?
It leads to the next topic of course, the networking lie,
Let me,
right? So,
if you don't mind, I'm
yeah,
gonna start this one off if that's okay with you.
I think this is what for me.
Because
Yeah,
listen, accountability is a topic we should cover next time, right? But it has a lot of, and I'm not gonna be one of those guys who'll be like, no, I didn't do anything wrong. No, the whole month of May, I made a bunch of mistakes when it comes to networking, going to networking events, what to say, what not to say. My mentor, great guy. I'm not gonna say his name without his what do you call it? Without him saying yes. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
he told me, no, don't say this, don't say that, don't do this, don't do that, all the stuff. So it was a lot for me to learn. But on the grand scheme of it, right, what I've noticed at networking events is I agree when you say, okay, people are there when you're useful to them. But I believe what I do is very useful. I'm in finance. So
yeah,
if you have a checking account and a savings account, I believe you would need my help. Or you would need the knowledge that I have. Regardless of who you are. Doesn't matter whether you're like an 18-year-old guy, a student who's going to university, or a 45-year-old with like 5 children, right? But that's on the personal side. Focusing on the networking events, complete honesty, if I were to be very blunt with you, they're there to bullshit around. Now, if we speak on behalf of niche down and a mixed networking event, a niche down, people are only interested in going for a chit chat because let's say you're in physics. You guys have a lot of similarities on what you talk about right now. You're in Germany trip for school, I believe, right? So
yeah,
a lot of similarities because you're all in physics or in that realm. When it's a mix, that's what you want to look out for, because you would go to these events thinking, okay, people from different industries, different companies, X, Y, Z. You expect them to have different values that you both can leverage each other. No, people are not there for that. People are there to go there, sit down, vent, just chit chat, bunch of nonsense, get drunk, and go home.
Yeah, and I have a question for you because I feel like you've been through enough to kind of to have the know-how about this. How much do you think ego and arrogance plays into this?
100%. One thing I'd say is I'd suggest everyone is don't go there with ego. Never go there with ego. Because look, I'm in finance. I've put myself in positions, going to certain networking events where I should not even be. I don't even belong. I should not even be there. A recent one I just attended, which was like, it was all pharmaceutical. The hell does a finance guy have to do with pharmaceutical? But I'm like, no. Finance is a day-to-day. It has a day-to-day involvement in your life, in my life, and everybody else's life. Right? So I have a reason to be there. But when we speak about ego, right? A lot of people come there as if, okay, they have this idea of, and I'll get to why you say, you're useful, because they'll get to, and it's a common disease when you go to a networking event, that is, they'll have this idea of what I do is better than what you do, right? And though we're networking, I want to make sure I benefit, I get the leverage here, and for you is just a basic transaction. I know what I just said might not make sense, but when you're there and when, let's say we have VV, for instance, right? We have VV.
Yeah.
Someone else who had startup, right? For some other online brands, some drop shipping, along the lines, e-commerce, right? You would say, hey, my product can scale your business or save you a lot of business money when it comes to advertising. You can benefit him, right? But if he only sees, okay, he's going to see it in a way that, okay, this guy just wants my money. And what I'm doing is better and harder. Like, what is this guy trying to say? I do apologize if I went on a rant, but that's like a common, very common thing in networking events that you'll find.
Yeah, and before we end this topic, what would you say to someone who's really watching this video right here that might want to better? Number one, I know I know you're very picky with what network event you go to, and two, how you go about it, how you dress, and how you speak. Because
I got a stupid question. Is this episode going to be more like me giving advice on what to do, what not to do at a networking event? Or is it more of a
I think you're Abdul Razzaq. You're the type of guy that would go to these events that would be known for more I wouldn't say B2B or B2C type of thing, but you're more the type of guy that would be more in that environment, that would be more expertise in that kind of thing. So I would best believe for a viewer, right, who is watching this content, who I'm assuming would be in the same field as us, doing business, doing fitness, right, being religious, and making sure you're on the right side of this world. That would be one thing to be interested, because we're also living in a shit country like Canada, right? Or wherever you live in, most likely you're living in a shit country that's most likely Jewish run. You have to get out of there, and the one way we get out of it is money. As much as we hate to say it, money is everything. Money is your health, money is what car you drive, money is how much sleep you get, money is if your parents can be alive for another couple of years. Money is everything, and the best way to do that is to, for example, go to networking events, right? One of my favorite quotes is, well, I don't know who he said it, but like, you're 2,000 cold calls away from being a millionaire.
Right? If I'm not wrong.
No, that's someone else. I forgot.
It was the old guy who's a big investor. It was an old guy.
It was an old guy. He's the guy who said, if you know who owned Bitcoin, really you'll sell all of it and run away.
Really behind Bitcoin. You would run as fast as you fucking could to sell it. I know.
He's that saying, I'll put a video up right now to see who said that. But the main point is, I feel like going to network, I think your expertise here, even though you're 20 years old, you made a lot of mistakes, is more valuable to someone who's never been to a network event, like myself, or to any majority of people.
Okay, I see where you're coming from.
Why.
Yeah, now I get what you're trying to say. Because I thought you wanted me to speak on about the bullshit aspect of it, or do you want, now that you're saying, give advice on it? So
because I feel like we're presenting.
Can I be honest?
We're presenting a problem.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
Someone like you who has never gone to networking events, man, the best thing you can ever do from today onwards is, let's say you're in Germany, right? The city you reside in Germany, find every single networking event, go to all of them. Though you're not in finance, that should not be a reason to stop you from going there. Like how I have this philosophy, right? I'm in finance, right? Yeah, and I'd probably wonder, okay, people, there was actually, this incident happened at that pharmaceutical networking event, right? Someone said, I know why you're here. And to be honest, like, you know, like, this is not the environment for you. You should go there, look for another environment. All the other bullshit, just trying to say, okay, what are you doing? You're just fucking around, right? And I simply said, listen, do you have a checking account? Yes. Do you have a savings account? Yes. So I have every reason to be here. It doesn't have to be pharmaceutical. It could be McDonald's, Tim Hortons, I don't know, God knows, some random janitorial office, anywhere, right? So someone like you, what I would say, and this goes out for all you guys too, if you have not gone to any networking events, I'd always suggest, till the day I die, listen, start applying to all of them, go to every one of them.
Absolutely.
Once you get the experience, let's say it's been a whole month two, that you've started going to a lot of networking events, once you understand, okay, the do's and don'ts, right? Because I'm not going to lie, without making mistakes, if I didn't make those mistakes, I wouldn't have better results right now. You know, some people, it won't be a month, it would be maybe a year. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
that's what I would say. Just go through it, man. That's what I'm saying. Because then once you realize afterwards what's valuable, what's not valuable. Like the one I'm going next week, it's all like doctors and nurses, right? And if I put into perspective, there's one that's doctors and nurses, and there's another one who's also like a mixer. That's like a mixed, right? Mixed. I'd say avoid that. Why? Because people are there to just fuck around. So is the the medical one. People are probably there to fuck around. But look, the odds of you only, let's say me in finance, or you in physics, the odds of you being the only one in physics, very high, comparative to, let's say you go in a mix and you see someone else doing the same thing as you.
Absolutely. And on that note, I think that's a great way to end this, obviously, stop in this episode. And I think we went from different brands. We went from, like, obviously the human aspect of it, of the problem of them becoming fatherless in this modern world, and obviously the business aspect of it, of obviously going to networking events and leveling up and investing in yourself. That was,
One last thing I wanted to say, one last thing. And the best way to summarize everything I said, right? Because, you know, a lot of people that skip to the end, be like, well, get to the point, right? And I kind of went on more like a procedure type, more of a rant, but put yourself in uncomfortable situations.
And that's literally what we said in the last episode.
Get yourself
out of the comfort zone.
Situations.
Yeah. And you'll find yourself never regretting. I think there's never a time.
You'll be embarrassed. I'll be completely honest. In that exact particular moment, you'll be embarrassed. You'll get goosebumps. You'll be like, what the f did I just do?
Yeah.
However, once you overcome that, once you learn from your mistakes, you'll be like, wow, I actually did that.
Absolutely.
Like, remember when Tate got knocked out by Chase Demore, right? It's better to try and fail and live with the fact that you failed, but at least you tried. It's better than regretting, okay, I never tried it. Oh, I wonder what would it be like.
Absolutely. And on that note, that's the end of episode 7. Thank you guys for watching the Filtered Remastered show, and Abdul Razzaq, you can end this one.
I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to say.
We should get an outro in this show. I think a good outro, but I think
you know what a good outro is? Good outro. I think it should be Somali music playing in the background, like you did on the last episode, right? Maybe a plane landing into Mogadishu, and it's just the cameraman waving.
Mogadishu, Filtered Remastered 2030. We'll be there.
We'll be there. Take care. Peace.
Take care.